math buddies, Sir Sherwin here, your math instructor. For today's video, we will be discussing about properties of real numbers. Of course, we will be aligned with this objective, and that is, we will state and illustrate the different properties of the operations on real numbers. So without further ado, let's determine the different properties of real numbers. Let's start with the first one. Closureproperty of addition. If x and y are real numbers, then the sum z is equal to x plus y is also a real number. Let's have the example. 32 plus 18 is equal to 50. Here, 32 is a real number, 18 is a real number. It follows that the sum, which is 50, is also a real number. Another example. 7 plus 2/3 is equal to 7 and 2/3. Here, 7 is a real number, 2/3 is also a real number, therefore the sum, which is a mixed number, is also a real number. Second property, closureproperty of multiplication. If x and y are real numbers, then the product z is equal to x times y is also a real number. Example, 3 times negative 11 is equal to negative 33. Here, 3 is a real number, negative 11 is a real number, therefore, the product of these two real numbers is also a real number, and that is negative 33. Another example, 2/3 times 4/5 is equal to 8/15. Rules in multiplying fractions, numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. In this property, 2/3 is a real number. 4/5 is also a real number. If we are to multiply two real numbers, then it will also give us a product that is also a real number. Let's remember this. Closure properties give the assurance that the sum or product of any two real numbers is also a real number. Commutative property of addition. If x and y are real numbers, then x plus y is equal to y plus x. Example, 6 plus 12 is equal to 12 plus 6. Here, left side of our equation is 18, and it is equal to the right side of our equation, which is also 18. Another example, 1/7 plus 2/7 is equal to 2/7 plus 1/7. Here, left side of our equation is 3/7, and that is equal to the sum of the right side of our equation, which is also 3/7. Commutative property of multiplication. If x and y are real numbers, then x times y is equal to y times x. Example, 6 times negative 12 is equal to negative 12 times 6. Here, the product of the left side of the equation is negative 72, and that is equal to the product on the right side of our equation, which is also negative 72. 1/7 times 4/5 is equal to 4/5 times 1/7. Rules in multiplying fractions, multiply numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. So the product of the left side of our equation is 4/35, and that is equal to the product on the right side of our equation, which is also 4/35. Remember this. Commutative properties state that the order of the addands or factors does not change the sum and product respectively. Associative property of addition. If x, y, and z are real numbers, then quantity x plus y plus z is equal to x plus quantity y plus z. Example, quantity of 6 plus 4 plus 12 is equal to 6 plus the quantity 4 plus 12. On the left side of our equation, 6 plus 4, that is 10. So we have 10 plus 12 equals 6 plus, combining 4 and 12, the sum is 16. Then simplifying, 10 plus 12, that is 22. that is equal to the right side of our equation, which sum is also 22. Another example. Quantity of 1/7 plus 2/7 plus 3/7 is equal to 1/7 plus the quantity 2/7 plus 3/7. Combining 1/7 and 2/7, the sum is 3/7 plus 3/7. It is equal to 1/7 plus 5/7, which is a result when we combine 2/7 and 3/7. By simplifying 3/7 plus 3/7, we have 6/7, and that is equal to the right side of our equation, which sum is also 6/7. Associative property of multiplication. If x, y, and z are real numbers, then quantity of x times y times z is equal to x times the quantity of y times z. For example, quantity of 6 times 4 times negative 2 is equal to 6 times the quantity 4 times negative 2. Here, product of 6 times 4, it is 24. Copy negative 2 equals 6, while getting the product of 4 and negative 2, that is negative 8. Let us simplify. 24 times negative 2, it is negative 48, and that is equal to the product of 6 and negative 8, which is also negative 48. Another example. Quantity of 1/2 times 5/7 times 1/3 is equal to 1/2 times the quantity 5/7 times 1/3. Here, simplifying 1/2 and 5/7, the product is 5/14. Then we copied 1/3 equals, we copied 1/2 times 5/21, which is a product when we simplify 5/7 and 1/3. So to simplify, 5/42 is the result when we get the product of 5/14 times 1/3. So 5/42 is also the product when we multiply 1/2 and 5/21. Remember this. Associative properties state that the grouping of addends or factors does not change the sum or product respectively. Distributive property of multiplication over addition. If x, y, and z are real numbers, then x times the quantity y plus z is equal to x times y plus x times z. Likewise, quantity of x plus y plus z is equal to x times z plus y times z. Example. 2 times quantity 5 plus 10 is equal to 2 times 5 plus 2 times 10. So this means 2 times 5 is 10, and 2 times 10 is 20. The result is 30. So 2 times quantity 5 plus 10, the result is 30. On the other hand, if we simplify 2 times 5 plus 2 times 10, that is equal to 2 times the quantity 5 plus 10. 5 plus 10, it's 15. So multiplied into 2, the product is 30. Remember this. Multiplication is said to be distributive over addition and subtraction. Identity property of addition. If x is a real number, then x plus 0 is equal to 0 plus x equals x. Example, 175 plus 0 is equal to 175. 15 over 17 plus 0 is equal to 15 over 17. 0 plus 13 and 25 hundredths, it is equal to 13 and 25 hundredths. Identity property of multiplication. If x is a real number, then x times 1 equals 1 times x equals x. Example, 175 times 1, the result is 175. 15 over 17 times 1, the result is 15 over 17. 1 times 13 and 25 hundredths, it is equal to 13 and 25 hundredths. Remember this. 0 is the additive identity element. 1 is the multiplicative identity element. This implies that the sum or product of any real number and 0 or 1 respectively will result to a real number. Inverse property of addition. If x is a real number, then there exists another real number, and that is negative x, such that x plus quantity negative x equals 0. Example, 711 plus quantity negative 711, the result is 0. 15 over 17 plus quantity negative 15 over 17, the result is 0. And negative 13 and 25 hundredths plus 13 and 25 hundredths, the result is also 0. Inverse property of multiplication. If x is a real number, then there exists another real number, 1 over x, such that x times 1 over x, it is equal to 1. Example, 711 times 1 over 711, that is equal to 1. 15 over 17 times the reciprocal, 17 over 15, that is equal to 1. Remember this. If the product of two non-zero real numbers is 1, the real numbers are said to be multiplicative inverses or reciprocals. Zero property of multiplication. If x is a real number, then x times 0 is equal to 0. Example, 711 times 0, that is equal to 0. 0 times 17 over 15, again, the product is 0. Remember this. Any number multiplied to 0, the result will always be 0. There you have it. Hope you learned something new today. God bless us all.